Alright boys, welcome back to another Maybe Lewis MMA UFC video. Today's video is going to be about the fights I think they should make after UFC Rio. You know, we had a lot of good winners on that card, a lot of great matchups we can make after that. So the first fight that I want to talk about is obviously the main event, Gamrot Oliveira. The first fighter I want to talk about is Matheus Gamrot. Obviously, you know, got finished in 2 rounds, got submitted, but took that fight on short notice. Obviously, it's not going to be an easy fight, especially against someone like Charles Oliveira. And yeah, obviously he took down short notice. Before that, he beat Ludwig Klein, but lost to Dan Hooker. Obviously now he lost to Oliveira. So he's 1-2 in his last 3. Obviously, I think he should get a little like warm-up fight, little step down, you know, get another guy who's coming off a loss and get him like started back up, working towards that title again. So I think he should fight another Brazilian. I think him versus Renato Moicano makes sense right now. Obviously, Moicano just lost to Beneil Dariush. Hasn't fought since January, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, just get them both in there. Maybe put this in like February or March. Matheus Gamrot versus Renato Moicano. I'm pretty sure Moicano's like number 12. Matheus Gamrot's like 9. So, you know, perfect fight for both. Whoever wins obviously gets that next step towards the title. And they just keep working up the rankings after that. Now, Charles Oliveira, I think he should get his call out. I think he should fight Max Holloway. Fight him again for the BMF belt. Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira 2. Obviously, Max Holloway went on stream after. Was talking a little trash. He always brings up the fact that Oliveira talks about the injury in the first fight. That is true. It ended in like a minute to an injury, but that's obviously, they're 2 different fighters now. But I think this fight, yep, Holloway, Oliveira 2 for the BMF belt. We all know who the real BMF though is, boys. But yeah, Oliveira, Max Holloway 2 for the BMF belt. Makes the most sense. And yeah. So for the co-main event, obviously Deiveson Figueiredo beat Montel Jackson by split decision. Now Montel Jackson looked really patient this fight. Too patient, if I would say. Obviously wasn't throwing enough, wasn't doing enough to get that decision, especially in Rio versus a Brazilian. But it was split. I thought it was unanimous, 29-28 Figgy. I was surprised when I heard split. Was hoping it didn't rob Figgy. But yeah, Montel Jackson obviously just got into the rankings. His last fight before this, I'm pretty sure, versus Marcos or versus Blackshear. But he's number 15. Obviously jumped up quick to like number 6 Figgy. I think he did good enough to still get a fight in the rankings and not have to defend it. So I think Montel Jackson versus someone who's coming off a loss. Kyler Phillips. I think Montel Jackson versus Kyler Phillips just makes the most sense. You know, Kyler Phillips just lost to Vinicius Oliveira. Montel Jackson just lost to Figgy. Both are still fighters trying to work up towards that title fight, trying to work up the rankings. So yeah, Montel Jackson versus Kyler Phillips makes the most sense, I feel like. And yeah, that's what Montel should fight next. Now, Deiveson Figueiredo. I was thinking about this a lot. I thought at first he should fight the loser of Mario Batista versus Umar. But I thought that didn't really make much sense. Obviously, because he's ranked number 6. I think he's going to want to get in there probably sooner or later. I don't know. I still feel like he should take some time off after this one. You know, make sure his knee's 100%. Because you never know with how his fight versus Sandhagen ended. So I think Deiveson Figueiredo should fight the winner of the recently announced fight for 323, I'm pretty sure. Deiveson Figueiredo versus the winner of Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot. Obviously, Cejudo's on like a 3-fight losing streak. He's going up against Peyton Talbot. I think that fight might be a little too soon for Peyton Talbot. Obviously, he just beat Felipe Lima, but he lost to Raoni Barcelos before that from the grappling. So you really never know, especially Cejudo, you know, All-American wrestler. But getting up there in age, he's going to be at a very big height deficit in that one, disadvantage. So yeah, Figgy versus the winner of Cejudo Talbot. I think, obviously. Yeah. Now, after that, Vicente Luque and Joel Alvarez. Obviously, Luque lost by decision, got destroyed on the ground, on the feet. wherever. He was getting picked apart everywhere. So I think they should just rebook his fight versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Makes the most sense, obviously. Joel Alvarez took down short notice, and yeah, Luque, but Santiago Ponzinibbio. Now, Joel Alvarez, I think he's done enough, especially his last few fights. I'm pretty sure he's on like a 3 or 4 fight win streak by stoppage. Well, obviously not now because of Luque, but before that he was. I think he earned his fight in the rankings. Joel Alvarez versus Daniel Rodriguez, the worst ranked fighter right now. And yeah, Joel Alvarez versus Daniel Rodriguez. Obviously, Rodriguez just beat Holland. So disappointing. But yeah, I think that's a good fight. I think he beats Rodriguez, gets in that ranking, starts working up towards the title. Because I think he's definitely one of the better, more patient strikers in the division. And yeah, Alvarez, Rodriguez, get his shot at the rankings. And now, what am I talking about? Jonata Deniz and Mario Pinto. Obviously, Deniz lost by round 2 TKO. He should fight the other guy who got slept on this card, Thomas Peterson. I think this one makes sense. They both just lost by TKO and knockout. Yep, just throw them in there together. And now Mario Pinto. I thought he looked pretty good this fight, obviously with his wrestling, his striking. Got that round 2 TKO versus Deniz, Not really easy. Deniz is one of the better kickboxers in the heavyweight division. So I think Mario Pinto earned his fight at the rankings. Obviously, there's not really that much great heavyweight ranked fighters. We need more contenders at heavyweight. And I think they're going to try to throw him in there like they did Teixeira. I don't think they're going to give him that Derek Lewis fight. But I do think they'll get him somewhere close to the top 10. This guy hasn't fought in a while. Obviously, he's trying to get back in there early next year, he said. So Mario Pinto versus Bam Bam Tai Tuivasa, I think makes the most sense next for Mario Pinto. Obviously, Tai Tuivasa hasn't fought in a while. He's on like a 4 or 5 fight losing streak. And yeah, sorry to do this to my boy Bam Bam. I don't think he wins this one, but I do think this is the fight they're probably going to do next for Bam Bam. And he might get released after this one. I do not think he wins this, unfortunately. And sucks to say he's one of my favorite fighters, but he's just not the same fighter we saw that was going on that winning streak that got him all the way to that Cyril Gane fight. Yeah. Now, last fighter I want to talk about from UFC Rio, Vitor Petrino. Looked great versus Thomas Peterson, even though he looked like he was gassing towards the end there. But obviously he got that uppercut knockout. Slept him. I think he earned his shot, 2 fights in the heavyweight, 2 wins. Who was his first fight? I forget. But he got a submission that fight, and then he knocked out Peterson. So I think he's earned his fight also at the rankings. Obviously, I think UFC is going to do it too, trying to get another heavyweight ranked fighter, a new face in the division. So I think they're going to do Vitor Petrino versus the guy who just lost a few weeks ago, Marcin Tybura. This is an interesting fight. Not going to lie, Tybura obviously has that grappling, that submission, but Petrino got the striking. So we're good to see how this one goes down, see if Petrino could win and get in the rankings as well at heavyweight. And yeah, boys, that's all I wanted to say real quick. My fights I think they should make after UFC Rio. And yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what I could do better. And look out for my prediction video for UFC Vancouver. And yeah, have a good one, boys. Peace.